Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
Good morning. How are you doing today? Thank God it's Friday and we thank God for life. Welcome on board to the last installment for the week of Morning Spring right here on Western Spring Television, where we bring to you critical and crucial issues, situations happening in the country. We'll talk to stakeholders, policymakers, politicians to help us have a better and a bigger understanding of the situation at hand. My name is EVELYN OHIOLEI, and I welcome you on board to the final day of the week. Final working day, my best day of the week, like I always say. Remember to connect with us on our different social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and X at Western Spring Television. And of course, you can ride with us on this show on our YouTube channel. That's at Western Spring Television. And of course, we would like to hear from you, your thoughts, your comments on any of our conversation this morning. You know, I do not do this alone. Femi is back. Good morning, Femi. How are you doing today?
Very well. Thank God. Thank God for life.
Yes.
Thank God for good health. My name is Femi Ojo, and I welcome you to this program as well. It's an essential dose that you usually have for the week, and this is the last one, just like she said as well. And the aim of this program is to have a better and a working nation, a nation that we are all proud of. That's what exactly we are going to do today as well. This program is on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television, and on Star Times, channel 190 TTT. It's going to be a very, very interesting one again today. Again, you're welcome.
And you know how we'll do it. We'll start off with the newspaper review, and we move on to the conversation.
That's
but
right.
Before we move over to check up what's happening in the nation and as reported by different national dailies, Femi, what is happening in Plateau is somewhat disturbing, especially what is happening in Mango local government, the killings and the destruction that is taking place in that local government. And of course, you realize what we heard what the Christian Association of Nigeria president in Plateau said, that accusing or indicting the Nigerian army of being the one behind all the crisis happening in the local government. And yesterday, the Department of State Services said they were going to invite this man to let them know what he knows, because it's a huge accusation that you are pointing fingers at the Nigerian army, providing support for those that are perpetrating this evil. And in the statement made yesterday by the DSS, they said, yes, they understand that when such chaos is going on, when such crisis is going on, people tend to be clouded. Their reasoning of judgment tends to be clouded. They just want to say anything because they are going through hard times. But definitely they are going to get this man invited to the headquarters so he can tell them what they know, what he knows rather.
Well, by the way, let's start from Mango. I think saying it's disturbing, that's right, is one thing. But at this time, I think this is shameful. Let's just say this is shameful. This is a local government, communities under that local government, and another local government that were ransacked just before the turn of the new year. Scores of people died, houses burned, villages pillaged, and after that, you knew what happened. All kind of visit happened to the place, from the vice president to the security chiefs, politicians, donating money, talking that the security will be improved. And less than 2-3 weeks later, the same Mango local government have been ransacked by criminals and killers. And you expect that troops might still be there. Maybe at least the security of that place might still be improved, in as much the same local governments have just been attacked. So you expect at least some scores or pockets of security agencies to still be there. So does it mean that why these people were there, or having their eyes there, or still doing surveillance, why the people were still trying to heal some of these communities in this same local government were attacked again? You know, it's just shameful, because it speaks to the fact that somebody somewhere is not doing their work. And you expect that at this time now, there will be politicians trooping into the place, security agencies saying they're on top of the matter, criminals. Are they telling us that since that last time, no one single person has been apprehended, at least that we know publicly, and these are the issues. So, as for the Christian Association of Nigeria person who talked in that place that is being invited by the DSS, of course, I believe being invited by the DSS is not the end of the world. If he has something to say, if actually he has facts to substantiate, then when he gets to the DSS should listen to him and take actions if actually there are facts in what he's saying. One thing that I know well-meaning people and myself, yourself, will not stand for is for him to be victimized. Don't victimize him because you think,
but
because it
that's
appears
a huge
the DSS,
accusation.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a huge one. That's why I say you should have this day in court, and these are no allegations that you throw around. These are the issues. And everybody who throw these kind of accusations, who say things that are, well, that are huge, that can impugn on the security of the nation, it should not start with the DSS. Everybody involved should be invited. We learned the Meyeti Alab, Kataore chairman or president was invited. Later we heard a denial, and these are the issues. So if the chief, the Christian Association chief, knows something and he has his fact, let him attend, let him give these informations, but then don't let it appear that the DSS is already taking a position by saying people tend to say many things because their sense of judgment is beclouded by emotion. It appears that you're already taking a position. Have him in your custody. Let him speak to you as well. And this should serve as a lesson as well, that even things are not going the way it's supposed to go. That fact doesn't mean that we should speak loosely. We understand the emotions as well, but there are some words that have huge impact. But being that as is made, people have died, Evelyn.
People have died, and
it can't be brought back. And it's a shame on the security architecture of the nation. Let's just say it as it is.
Recently, they said 10 corpses have been recovered, and this man has said that he will not be silenced. I mean, I just read in the Punch this morning that he said he will not be silenced in saying the truth because he knows what he knows. But then the DSS have continued to say, if you know what you know, then come and tell us what you know.
No problem. Let him have his day there. Let him go with his lawyers.
Whatever he knows, we just hope that he has substantial proof, or evidence rather, to prove what he knows.
That's it.
The man really, that's a big, huge accusation and indictment against our security agencies. But definitely fingers are crossed, and we will see developing situations in the coming weeks. But we hope and we pray that these situations are good situations. We don't want to hear more killings. We don't want to hear more destructions. Like I said yesterday, that we need to start hearing good news from Plateau State.
That's right.
All right, that's that. We go for this pause. We pause at this time, go for this break. When we return, it will be time to check out what's happening in Nigeria as reported by different national dailies. The newspaper review. We'll be right on. All right, let's get on now to taking some headlines on our different national newspaper. Starting with the Punch newspaper for today, Tinubunomics. Amazing word there. Tinubunomics, FG defies as NLC says reforms killing Nigerians with double riders. Listening to IMF, World Bank has never helped Nigeria. NLC president tells Tinubu, president determined to make life better for citizens, says information minister. Kind of fascinated by that word, Tinubunomics, no longer economics. Yeah. All right, so, but I think that what is trying to say the change for a better economy of the country as presented by President Tinubu. So that means we once had Buhari-nomics.
Yeah.
Now we have Tinubu-nomics. All right, away from that, let's move on. Customs seize 4 billion naira cocaine arms from South Africa. And bottom strip, FG releases funds for second Niger bridge, Lagos-Ibadan bypasses, and U.S. court finds Nigerian blogger $50,000 for defaming MFM overseer. And the top corner of the Punch newspaper this morning, Tinubu approves 50 billion naira security vote for 5 northern states. It's not only approval, it's not only the receiving of the security vote, it is what are they using this money for? Are they using it for the right things? We need to secure our states, we need to secure the northern region, we need to secure the southern region. Naira drops at parallel market, closes 900 to $1 at the official window. You know, Femi, the Naira went to an all-time low yesterday, 1,000, over 1,400. I think at the parallel market it was between 1,430 to 1,470, 1,400, and at the official market, you know, it went 980 to $1. But yesterday closed at 900 to $1 at the official window.
Right.
And lastly, on the Punch newspaper, Nigeria, Morocco fast-track talks on $30 billion gas pipeline. And that story is on page 21 of the Punch newspaper for today.
All right, from that very creative and bold description of Tinubunomics, let's go and be guided by The Guardian. The Guardian is announced how checkpoints, talking about the unease of doing business, interesting, now is no more about the ease of doing business, as Guardian put it. It's the unease of doing business. Big story, pages 4, 5, and 6. How checkpoints, bad roads, block trade, spike inflation. Of course, you see the picture there with some figures. Impact of bad roads and illegal taxation in Nigeria. The taxman was on a program yesterday and he spoke about the plans of the government. Generating enough tax without really, you know, putting more pressure on the people and addressing the multiple taxation. But now that on one hand, bad roads, illegal taxation on another hand. And of course, you see trucks here that trying to move from one point to the another, struggling with some bad portions of roads. And this doesn't just only impugn on the ease of the business, but it's also, if care is not taken, it can also result in destruction of life and property through accidents, because you can see some of these roads, you know, some of these articulated vehicles, when there's a distortion in the movement or the balance, what's next is always unpalatable, and these are the issues. By the way, 1,259 emergency calls on vehicle disasters in Lagos received in 2022. That's in Lagos alone. And you know, maybe because Lagos is more articulated than other states. It is, not just maybe, it is, they are. Actually, maybe that's why you have some figures. There might be some figures as well that are not documented by other states. That said, 49,680 tons of food product wasting across Nigeria yearly because of moving it from the produce farm, you know, to the market. Some of these things get spoiled. Money wasted, effort wasted. It's just loss. By the way, 2,916 deaths from tanker explosion. That's it. 423.5 million liters of petrol products spilled in tanker accidents yearly. 423.5 million liters. That's wasted just because of the impact of bad roads. That way, drivers pay between 250,000 and 350,000 naira on the illegal tax per trip from north to south-south. From north to south-south, 250,000 naira to 350,000 naira. And guess what? You know the person who will bear the brunt?
Yeah.
Your guess is as good as mine. Because nobody does business, and we just stomach that kind of a thing himself. They have to put it on the same, you know, product and goods and services as well. And the consumer bears that brunt. Lagos to north, south-south, and southeast. You know, it's an interesting read. You can just pick up a copy of The Guardian. Moving on. Takeaway parks. Talking about styrofoam now. Lagos maintains stance on styrofoam ban, gives a 3 weeks ultimatum, or moratorium rather. Takeaway parks. Lagos maintains stance on styrofoam ban, gives 3 weeks moratorium. EVELYN, I think these 3 weeks is too small, if you ask me, because you have people who have this product in their warehouses. They have it in their shops. And now when Lagos is saying, we give you 3 weeks to dispose of it, either you're selling it, either you're confiscating it. The question is, the people that have it in their stores, that's what they sell before this directive comes out, what do they do with it? Who bears the brunt? These are the issues. And now some of them we have to sell, you know, at a very, very bad rate. You know what I'm talking about? Because nobody wants to buy what the government will come and arrest them of using. And so if a product per dozen, for example, is 1,000 naira, it might come down to as little as 150, 200 naira, because nobody wants to buy, except somebody that wants to do events this weekend. And these are some of the things. I think maybe Lagos should just go like 2 months, at least, for some of those things to be disposed of. But then what do I know?
They should actually work with these people to ensure that these products are eased out, not pressured out. You know, I think
because
they should
nobody
work
will
with
buy
them, because this is business, also business for them.
Being affected.
If you go this route, people will be agitated, people will be pressured, people will get angry. When people get angry, they can resort to all sorts of
the government becomes unpopular.
Exactly. And
you see that some persons will still want to dare and say, I can't throw these things away. And then the government comes with a big stick, and you know that somebody is not just sensitive. It's a good thing, by the way. I
love the word dare. You know, Nigeria would like to, what we did do.
Let's see what they will
do.
And you might see fisticuffs that are needless. And you go to parties and want to withdraw some of these things on a party over and bed that somebody has spent money, and you say they should throw away the food. Somebody will hear what they have not heard before. But I think they should be understanding. Atiku queries $3.3 billion emergency loan. NLC seeks review of Tinubu's policies over unpleasant outcomes. Nigeria needs ambitious fiscal reform to achieve sustainable 3.1% growth, Business Page 16. And terrorists kill imam. 2 others abduct 32 in Katsina. Again? Really? Sad one. Sanusi backs relocation of CBN department to Lagos. That's His Eminence Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, former CBN governor, you know, giving his take about those things. We'll look into that in the course of our program discussion. Ibadan explosion. Federal government gives security agencies 2 weeks to review reports. And that will be all from the front page of The Guardian for today.
All right, from The Guardian, we move over to the Vanguard newspaper for today. And on the Vanguard newspaper, Plateau, neighbors rejoiced while they burnt our house, says survivor, with a couple of riders here. Say they thought we were burnt to death in the house. Police confirm arrest of 9, recovery of 10 corpses. We won't tolerate any further security breaches, says Governor Mutfwang. And tension in Karang as security men kill woman, shoot 3 others. And NIO calls for restraint over killing of members. We remain neutral, committed to protecting lives and property, says DHQ. And notes trending videos spreading falsehood about military personnel. Speaker Abbas meets Tinubu 6 end to plateau killings. That's a sad situation going on in Plateau State at this moment. Away from that, we have Buhari's team left economy worse than we met it, says Media Trust Chair. And FG Morocco intensified talks to fast-track gas pipeline. All right, in Edo State, the governorship poll, no quarrel between OHIOLEI and I, says Eze Iyamo. I cannot be intimidated out of this race, says Philip Schreiber. A whole lot going on in Edo State there. Let's take some headlines on the top corner. Power generation crashes to 3,383 megawatts despite hike in tariff. That story you can find on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper for today. And fourth mainland bridge construction begins in March, says Sanwo-Olu. Lagos Mall's investment in airline operations. And why some CBN departments should be relocated to Lagos. This coming from His Eminence Sanusi. Away from that, let's see, talking sport, AFCON 2023. President Tinubu urges Super Eagles to change tactics, soar like eagles. It seems that Mr. President is so interested in the Super Eagles bringing home the AFCON Cup, the trophy, and he's trying to encourage them, trying to give them some pep talk that yes, they can do it, and he really needs them to play better because he is not comfortable with their style of playing. And we will discuss this more when we get to spring trends, because Nigerians are actually talking. They have reacted to that statement by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, that will be all for the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Before we end the Vanguard, of course, Mr. and Mrs. According to your uncle, any woman married into your family is entitled to a plot of land anywhere she chooses. He said it's in your family history. That from Mrs. and trust Mr. to give a response. He said that's what he cajoled his 5 wives with. It's not in our family history. It is a story. Yeah, trying to say no, it's not in our family history. He said that to just get his 5 wives, into his home. All right, that will be all for the Vanguard.
Interesting one. What some men would do to, woo ladies
at the wooing stage.
They
will promise heaven on earth.
Somebody will even promise the national stadium. And then, for people that are in love, sometimes logic is thrown away, really. That's what happens. And then you wonder, 5 of them fell for the same lines. Interesting one. To talk about the nation today, we look at the Nation newspaper. PricewaterhouseCoopers forecast 3.1% growth in economy. PricewaterhouseCoopers, that's PwC, forecast 3.1% growth in economy. And of course, just beneath it, you have the picture of the Lagos State Governor, his deputy, and some traditional heads at an event. And moving on, boldly written now. Power supply worsens as generation drops to 3,134 megawatts. Again, power supply worsens as generation drops to 3,134 megawatts. Okay, and riders, TCN blames gas shortage. 30 megawatt coming from Kashimbila. Enugu community stores multi-billionaire power project. Why? You want to pick up a copy of the Nation. Moving on quickly. Ohinoi of Ebiraland, Tijani Anaje installed. Ohinoi of Ebiraland, Tijani Anaje installed. This is the new monarch being presented with the staff of office by the Kogi State Governor, Mr. White Lion himself. That's it. Governor Yahya Bello. Katsina. So congratulations to the His Highness, by the way. Katsina Governor advocates State Police. Rivers Assembly arson, 5 sent to prison. Want to know who they are? Lagos to float airline, build airport in Lekki, Lagos for sure. Ikunibaje, really the center of excellence. Someone will say they have the wherewithal, by the way.
Yeah.
The infrastructure is there readily, but it's looking like they will have another one in Lekki right now. And government, labor, minimum, by the way, Akwa Ibom has an airliner as well, so that would be a good one. Government, labor, minimum wage talks for March. Now, when Supreme Court affirmed Fubara Kefes Aliyu victories, and Aiyedati was set to inaugurate Adelami as the deputy governor. He's the designate right now. And presidency tackles Atiku over claim on NNPC's $3.3 billion loan. That will be the size of the headline segment for today. And we take this break. When we return, we'll talk about matters arising about the Federal Republic of Nigeria, some parastatals, MDAs of the government, recent directive of the government, and of course the reactions of many critical stakeholders to these directive of the government as well. It's still Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Don't go nowhere. The program will continue after the break.
Welcome back. It's still Morning Spring on Western Spring Television, and this is The Conversation. And today we are going to be taking a critical look at the controversy trailing a move by the federal government. We realized that we learned rather that some departments of the Central Bank of Nigeria was moved there is a directive to move it from Abuja to Lagos. And also recently we heard that the Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development also gave a directive to relocate the head office of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria from Abuja to Lagos. A lot of people are talking, different critical stakeholders, politicians are talking, especially northern senators and youths have expressed their displeasure over this move. We had Senator Ali Ndume speak to this development, telling Mr. President not to endorse this because this is a wrong political move and that will have dire consequences in the future. And also, we also learned that His Eminence has also waded into this discussion that's in the person of Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, saying that this is actually a good move that's talking about the relocation of some departments of the Central Bank of Nigeria from Abuja to Lagos. There are different reasons why some people feel that it's a wrong move, and also there are reasons why others think it is the best move at this time. To help us interrogate this matter, we are joined live this morning all the way from the Center of Excellence, Lagos State, by Mr. Olufemi Lawson. He's a public affairs analyst. Good morning to you, Mr. Lawson. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. It's my pleasure to be here.
All right, so let's just get right into it. I'd like to get your impression about this relocation of some departments and parastatals in the country. Talk about departments in the Central Bank of Nigeria and also the head office of the Federal Airport Authority from Abuja, which happens to be the capital of the nation, to Lagos, which is considered as the commercial capital of the country.
Well, it's very unfortunate that in Nigeria, virtually every decision taken, irrespective of how important or significant they want, are liable to be politicized. Because in Nigeria, we elevate politics among every other consideration in our national life. The decision to move the department, in CBN back to Lagos, and of course, moving the headquarters of the Federal Aviation Authority to Lagos, which is of course, the aviation hub of Nigeria, whether anybody likes it or not, are not unusual. And it's also very funny that a lot of people do not actually know that first headquarters has always been in Lagos from time immemorial until about 3 years ago when Mr. Adesote, the immediate president of the division, relocated planning quarters to Abuja. But as we speak, the headquarters of the matter remains in Lagos because Lagos is the, of course, maritime home of the country. And just like CBA, Department of Banking Supervision, which two staff are now being out of office. Remember that the CBN had an ultramodern building built in Lagos a couple of years ago, which is still there underutilized. And virtually all banks in Nigeria are headquartered in Lagos. And then you begin to ask why people are opposed to simple, administrative procedure, which will not only save government costs, but will also make the job of the CDN and also some of these agencies easier. So, it's a line, like I said, that we just have to postpone everything in Nigeria just because so one president is removed or somebody from the south. Very unfortunate.
All right, Mr. Lawson, are you still with us, please?
Yes.
All right. The federal government gave their reasons why they are taking these actions rather. And if you permit me, Bayo Ononuga, a special advisor on information and strategy to President Tinubu, says Lagos is the hub of the aviation business, hence the federal government decision to relocate the headquarters of FAN, that's the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, to the state. And, that decision was announced by Festus Keyamo. And as well, the central bank also made a similar announcement. And that has been generating so many controversy as well, which many persons are thinking, is this really needful? Do we really need this? And these are some of the questions that are being asked by the people as well. Now, he said the movement of the Department of Banking Supervision of the CBN to Lagos should not trigger, this by Ononuga now, any discourse within the polity. The department concerned deals with commercial banks, and he said almost all of which have their headquarters in Lagos. So all those pushing this campaign of falsehood and misinformation know they are merely playing politics, albeit a dangerous politics to pit the North against the South. Now, Mr. Lawson, the question is, who are these people that are trying to pitch one region of the country against another? That's number one. Number two, must we always go this road? Does it bother you that every decision of the government, not just under Bola Tinubu administration, even previous government, must always have this undertone? Is it really our reality as a people, or truly is people that are seen beyond these things? Maybe they really have their facts and their evidence why these things are being done that are not, the government will not come out and say it's because of this, that's why we are doing that. Must we always go that route as a people, or the people have their reasons, and are these reasons tenable? My colleague talked about Alun Dume, the Northern Elders Forum. Many regional bodies are speaking on the matter, and they are frowning at it. Is it our reality as a people?
Well, unfortunately, you see, those behind this controversy and unnecessary, attempts to polarize the system are not just even the ordinary Nigerians. For the ordinary Nigerians, I don't think the location of the department in CBN or where the headquarters really matters to them as much as how their daily survival will be guaranteed and their security will be guaranteed by government, and the like. These people are the politically exposed Nigerians. People in that places will go that one of the first to condemn this position of government. We have seen a situation whereby, people ordinarily are expected to not to have knowledge of the whole essence of this institution of government. And actually the ones who have left this perverted impression that the president is moving the government quarters away from Abuja, relocating the federal capital to Lagos and also the Guma. It is very pathetic because these are people who ordinarily should educate the ordinary citizens, who ordinarily should be put together for the society. Unfortunately, they are the authors and the leaders of this kind of confusion that have been created by a more legislative procedure of the government, which is not being done to regional, ethnic, political, controversy.
Mr. Lawson, if you can help us maybe change your location a bit. That connection is fainting. We are not really hearing you well. Can you hear me?
Come again.
All right. As the connection is a bit faint, if you can actually help us change your location so that we can hear better.
I'm actually on the way.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll try and manage what we can of this connection. Now, Bayo Onanuga gave some instances, by the way. He said there are some headquarters of some agencies of the government that are not based in Lagos. In fact, he said, or some are based in Lagos, ab initio. So it's not just about Abuja. He said the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, and Nigeria Port Authority are in Lagos. So this is not a north versus a south thing. And he said the same thing, the headquarters of National Inland Waterways Authority is in Lokoja, while that of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board was commissioned by former President Muhammadu Buhari and is in Yenagua. He said it must be pointed out that the decisions are purely administrative, that should not be politicized by people of goodwill and who wish our country well. Now, Mr. Law say, is it because Bola Tinubu is from Lagos? That's why this thing is having some of these undertones and sentiments and emotions. If Bola Tinubu were to come from Osun State or from Taraba State, and these decisions were made to relocate these MDAs of the government, in fact, it's not even all of the operations, some operations of these MDAs, do you think some of these people will still be raising these eyebrows?
Well, I don't want to understand what the president can to do. Even the whole headquarters of the bank to Lagos, and it's very strange because I'm not seeing this for the first time. Maybe a lot of people are seeing for the first time. Because in neighboring countries like Benin Republic, whose political capital is in Port Novo, most of the economic activities of the country are domiciled in Cotonou. A lot of people even think Cotonou is the headquarters of the country, the capital of the country rather. Same applicable to Ivory Coast, where virtually all major institutions driving the economy are situated in Nigeria, which is not the capital of the country. And this happens even in other Western countries where institutions that drive economy are situated in places where they are relevant and they can be functional. But every time in Nigeria, you cannot do them because so everybody who has a position in Nigeria, including the senators, the first thing they do is how to locate the next university to their village, how to move the next headquarters of the Calcutta to their hometown. So people have lost any trust in their own self. People who do not trust themselves, always find it difficult to trust the system. So and that is why this is such a controversy in my own opinion. It's not really about where the president is coming from. It's about the tendency of the average politician who wants every institution of government located behind their windows and in their villages. But in this case, I think this is a more sensitive decision. It's a more strategic decision. And I don't think anybody will argue, with the fact that you want to take the department that supervises banking operation to where the banks are domiciled, and somebody says it is wrong. And somebody also argued that Lagos is not the irrigation of Nigeria, where not less than about 70% of the air traffic, emanates, and of course, foreigners been through. So these are the fundamental issues I think we should focus on, rather than the pettiness that is necessitating this undue controversy, which majorly is said as further dividing this country than uniting it.
All right.
All right, Mr. Lawson, if you say that, what about those that are asking that some ministries, the headquarters of some ministries, be moved to different regions in the country? For instance, the Iowa consultative firm, a leader said that the Ministry of Trade and Commerce should be moved to the southeast. Since we have more operations of trade and commerce in the eastern part of the country, also that the Ministry of Petroleum, the headquarters, the head office should be moved to the south-south. Since we know that that is where majorly we get this product from, and also the Ministry of Agriculture, the head office should be moved to the north. If we want to talk about where these operations take place more. And that is in defense of saying that, the relocation of this head office of the CBN and the FAN is unjustifiable.
No, I think I'll get some people advancing that immediately, but I think it is fundamentally incorrect, because no ministry has been moved to Lagos, to the best of my knowledge. So saying that the Ministry of Petroleum can also be moved to the south-south, Ministry of Agriculture, who even says the north is the agricultural, areas of Nigeria, because there are a lot of farming activities to be found, as much as it's going on in the north. The idea is that no ministry has been moved to Lagos.
Okay.
All ministries in Nigeria are headquartered in Abuja. What has been taken to Lagos are just departments in some of these agencies. Like FAN is one of the agencies under the Ministry of Aviation. You have the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority. You have the Aerospace. There are a lot of other departments under the FAN is not the only department under the Ministry of Aviation. Likewise, the Department of Banking Supervision is not the only department under the CBN. We must get it correctly. All ministries do have their headquarters in Abuja. Abuja being the capital of the country. So we cannot say because of the decision to move, if there are relevant departments in the Ministry of Agriculture that can be taken to the north, let it be so, as long as it is so much cost and to provide efficiency for the system. So it's not about trying to, take everything to where these resources are sourced for. But we are talking of administrative convenience, we are talking of saving costs. I hope we know how much the CBN must have been spending for some staff who will claim to be traveling to Lagos to do their supervisory work because the departments have been in Abuja. We are seeing in this country where people claim to have, flew from Abuja to Lokoja, where there's no airport, all in the name of supervising a project. So we must do everything that is possible or necessary to make sure that we don't cause of governance and ensure that we don't unnecessarily create bottlenecks for the system. And I think that is why if there are relevant agencies in any ministry, that should be relocated to where they can be more efficient and where they are needed. Let it be in the north, in the south, or wherever such are going to be relocated to.
All right, so are you saying that this sentiments by the northern leaders, by the northern youth, by the Iowa Consultative Forum is, is something we should take with a pinch of salt?
Well, left to me, I don't think all those undue agitations actually deserve any response. But it's good that the appropriate authority have responded. But I think we need to do a lot more in educating our minds as Nigerians. Unfortunately, a lot of people in our places are not as educated as they should be. And that is why they take every advantage, every opportunity to stream evidence of, ethnic sentiment and all this kind of tendencies where it is not necessary.
But politically, Mr. Lawson, what's the implication? We learned or we heard the senator representing Borno South Senatorial District, Ali Ndume, say that the president is being ill-advised by some Lagos boys, he calls them, by some political cartel. They are wrongly advising the president, and there is going to be political consequences in the future. So politically, what do you think? Do you think this is a wise move?
Well, politically, I'm not so much given to whatever political interpretation Senator Ndume or his build attached to his decision. Unfortunately, they are also members of the same family. Both Senator Ndume, the president, and even the Lagos bodies, who I don't know precisely, they must have been referring to. They are all members of the same political party. They have their mode of corruption as a party, and I think it can best, to describe those is describing rather as Lagos boys who tend to be misleading the president. But if the president does anything wrong, Senator Ndume was also said that he, as one of the leaders of the party that produced that president, will give explanation to Nigeria. So we should not think it is assumed from whatever policy is by that is undertaken by the Tinubu administration, because on the long run, Nigerians will judge the party and the president in like manner when the time comes.
All right, thank God you said you don't know them, because I was almost asking you, you're in Lagos, by the way, if actually you know the Lagos boys, or who are the Lagos boys. By the way, Mr. Lawson, that's just on the lighter mode. But talking about what the Senate whip said, as Senator Ali Ndume, he said there are political cartel who are ill-advising, the president. And he says he's sure that Mr. President will reverse it rather, because it doesn't work. That Mr. President is a nationalist, he's not just a Lagosian. Now, let's expand the scope of this discussion beyond the CBN and the FAN. Mr. Lawson, it seems there's this brewing discomfort. And I say this because there are some conversations that, ordinarily speaking, you would think it should be taken from the substance of the matter. But there's this sentiment that is looking like, currently now as it stands, you're a social scientist yourself, it's looking like a north versus south thing. Every decision, somebody does something, is invited by the DSS, you see people picking it from, okay, it's because it's from the north. Something happens, people are saying it's because from the south. Why is this distrust? And why is this really happening? We know there are some bias in the past. Under President Buhari, many persons accused him of nepotism and, having some bias for the north. Is that what we are seeing right now? Because some persons are already saying it's like the south is being favored as well in appointment and, in priority. Now, look into this. Are we back to this north versus south thing? Because everybody, or most persons, now, unfortunately, people of thoughts and influence are looking at these things, everything that happens in this nation, from tribal and regional part. Are we back to that point again? Mr. Lawson, are you with me? Okay, we might have to reconnect to be with Mr. Lawson again, because EVELYN, we are scientists in one way or the other, either informally or formally, as a social. When you take some of the thoughts of people and you read based on what they say, their body language, the way they emote, during the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari, there was these nepotistic tendencies that people accused him of having priority bias for everything that is northern. And now many persons are beginning to say, under President Bola Tinubu, is trying to do the same thing and is favoring the South in terms of appointments of ministers, the choice of ministry given to some people, the heads of parastatals and the MGAs, the security architecture, And it's looking like we are back to that discussion again. So is it a distrust that the North are feeling like, okay, maybe the South too are trying to balance what happened under that last administration? Or in essence, why must we resort to looking every decision or indecision of the government through the prism of regionalism and tribe and tongue and language?
You know, it's a very sad situation, and it is dire because when people tend to, when there's a division along ethnic or religious lines, it's not too good for the country. And we came here from the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, where people felt that he had more nepotism being played out in his choice of ministers, in giving out a position and positions to people. They felt it tilted more to the northern side. And of course, we heard during the 2023 elections, when people say that it is our time, and when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu made that particular statement in Abeokuta the other day when he said in Miloka, a lot of Southerners ran with it because they felt this is our time.
Like Awalokon.
Awalokon, it is a time of the South. It is a time of the Yoruba. So when the president started picking up his ministers, selecting and nominating his ministers and, giving out positions, and I remember on X, on Twitter, when the name comes out, people want to know where is he from. And, when you see a Yoruba name, you see a Southerner comment and say, so far as a Yoruba person, I'm okay. I don't care the portfolio of the person. I don't care to know the profile of the person. And if it's not, if the person is not a Yoruba, you hear the person say, why must they give a Yoruba person? Yeah. So I think the nation is degenerating into an abyss we don't really want to get into right now, because when we get in where every move by the government is scrutinized with tribal, tribal gaze, scrutinized with a religious gaze, we will not move forward as a country.
And it's a very sad one, because even good intentions
exactly.
will always be second guessed. Is it because? Is it because? And that doesn't help any nation, serious nation, if actually what we usually do is to say, where is it from? And what is it getting? Mr. Lawson, thank you, you are back. Can you hear me? Mr. Lawson, can you hear me now? Are you with me, Mr. Lawson? Okay. Mr. Lawson, can you hear me? All right, we'll try and work on that as well. We sincerely apologize for the connection. It can be a bit itchy at times. And we're trying to talk about the decision of the federal government to relocate some department of the CBN to Lagos for operational purposes, by the way, from Abuja to Lagos. And of course, Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria headquarters, be relocated back to Lagos for the purpose of operations as well. That's where most of the operations, airline operations, happen. And then for the banking system, most of the banks have their headquarters in Lagos as well. And for the purpose of decongesting the, the Abuja headquarters of the CBN, that many persons have said, especially those that are speaking on behalf of the CBN, to say it's not like the government is looking for a new office or building new structure for the CBN. There is already a standing structure for the CBN. The offices are there. So why why congest Abuja when actually you can just have these people move down and save cost? The same thing with the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria. These are the issues as well.
You know what? The former CBN governor and His Eminence Lamido Sanusi Lamido said that he would have taken this move when he was the governor of CPN, that it is a commendable move, it is a necessary move, and people that are against this move are just playing dirty politics. It's that this isn't about politics, this isn't about trying to move, you know, the fear of most people is that President Tinubu wants to make Lagos, turn Lagos back to being the capital of the country. Yeah, that's the fear of some of these politicians. But you know, when His Eminence spoke, he said there's no cause for alarm. This is a necessary move. This is a commendable move. It's a move that I wanted to do when I was governor of CPN. So as a northerner, it feels there is no cause for alarm. And I feel as a country, we should take our minds off tribal sentiments, religious sentiments, and just operate. So far, it's in the interest of the people.
Yes, according to the former CBN governor, that's Sanusi Lamido Sanusi now. By the way, he has put a clarification that he said, some people are saying that that statement from him, that he said the CBN should relocate to Lagos. That's not what he said. He was only talking about the operational movement of some personnel and departments to Lagos, saying it's a welcome move. And let me say part of what he said. According to the economics, the first is the question of locating functions he described as strategic and not tactical one, calling for a proper analysis to be done, you know, to identify which roles are best suited to Lagos and which to Abuja. Now, he said once the logic is clear, the people will then follow. And then that non-communication of strategic intent opens the door to mischievous misrepresentations and arbitrariness. Now, let me quote him. Second, individual situations should be considered as much as possible. We should be empathetic. For example, young mothers with kids in school who do not need to move can be prioritized to stay in Abuja, or those with medical conditions. These are some of the ways. So, third, the CBN needs to focus on the exchange rate and inflation. Once it has control of these, it earns credibility. And once CBN has credibility, the governor is untouchable. So long as people think the CBN has lost control of its key mandate, everyone can make it a target, and simple things like this, that staff movement, become an issue it has to defend itself on. So His Eminence is saying maybe the real issues are not even being taken care of. He said the CBN should get a grasp of the economy, make sure you are doing what is right, that they need that credibility. They need to have it. It earns credibility, especially on the foreign exchange, talking about the exchange rate rather, and inflation. That once the CBN can get a grasp of this, they can have it on hold, making the nation and the people seeing favorable indices favoring them, that some of these things will not matter to them. It's because they feel the CBN has even lost it. So the next thing is to be relocating. That's why people care. You want to say, maybe, does the ordinary people really care about who is going to where?
That is what Mr. Lawson said.
It's just the leaders that are whipping all these things.
That is what Mr. Lawson said in his opening remarks, that getting the job done, we don't care how you get it done. So Nigerians really do not care where the operation is, whether I Lagos or Abuja. Just ensure that I have money in my pocket. Just ensure that you bring down the foreign exchange rate. Just ensure you do what is right. Let the economy be fine again. We don't care if it's in Abuja, if you take it to Katsina, if you take it to Kafanchan. We just want the economy right and well. So to your question, the ordinary Nigerian really doesn't care. Those people that are whipping up the sentiments are just political leaders, people that have political interests. So they have an interest to actually guard. So I don't think an ordinary Nigerian really cares.
Really care. And, you know, to just bring it home, when you want to get groceries, maybe around your home, stores around your area, do you ask them, where's this tomato from? If it's from Jos, no, I don't want to take Jos tomato. No. Is it good? Is it edible? Is it fresh? Can I afford it? These are the questions that matter to ordinary Nigerians. They just bring it, you know, home. But by the way, we'll go on this quick break and we'll be back. The program will continue. We're talking about the decision of the federal government to relocate some operations of its agencies to Lagos, you know, for efficiency, for the congestion, you know, some, especially the headquarters of the CBN, moving to Lagos in an existing facility, you know, just to make sure things work very smoothly. It's Morning Spring. Don't go nowhere. We'll be back. All right, thank you for staying with us. Quickly, as we wrap it up, I was speaking to Mr. Lawson before the, you know, the service went bad, to say, are we back to this North versus South thing? Because in recent times, especially under this administration, many persons have started to accuse President Tinubu of the same thing that former President Buhari was accused of nepotism, of being biased, having some priority for the North. And people are saying it's like this administration too has a priority for the South in manner of appointments, ministers being chosen, head of parastatals and MDAs, and people are already second-guessing, you know, every activity and direction of the government. So is that what we are in right now? Mr. Lawson, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm with you.
All right. Are we on that same trajectory now? Do you think it's a North versus South thing now?
The North versus South meeting has always been an agenda of politicians, mostly deployed when, you know, they are out of favor at some point or the other, you know, from whoever is in government. And of course, even though at some point government is guilty, but I don't think it is in all situations that government becomes guilty because of where an appointment has been, you know, from, or who been appointed into what position or other. Unfortunately, most of these elements who are shouting North-South dichotomy today, you know, had their, you know, mouths sealed during the last 8 years of President Buhari, where virtually everything that matters and opposition that matters in this country were occupied by people from the region of the country. But for us, I think it's more important that we look at the merits of whatever matter we are discussing. I don't want a country that is going to be divided along ethnic and religious lines like we have had, unfortunately, in the last couple of years as a country. I think we should be more interested in a country that works, irrespective of, you know, why we cannot totally do away with the sentiment because of the peculiarity of our country, you know, based on the ethnic and religious configuration. But we must be weary of the antics of politicians who merely use this not as a tool for national cohesion, but as a tool for division. For people who use this as a means of national cohesion, it is commendable when we, you know, demand that there is equitable distribution of office and resources and the like. But these politicians, their mission is not to demand for equitable distribution of resources or whatever. Their intention is to further divide the country because of mere political interest. And I don't think it is in our interest as a country to toe the line of those who are holding this opinion.
All right, Mr. Lawson, we know that you are pressed for time, so I'll just ask this question. What do you think the government can do to actually regain the trust and confidence of the people? Because these leaders, you know, driving this narrative, they are leaders of influence in their own regions. And people just listen to them and believe what they say. So they kind of pitch the people against the government. So what do you think the government can do aside doling out statements every other day to, you know, regain the trust and confidence of the people to say that, see, we are not trying to develop one region and leave out the other region. We are for the people. We are for one Nigeria. And this move was necessary because of this and that.
The most important thing is to ensure that it is fair and seen to be justiciable at all times. Because irrespective of the number of statements that the government tries to issue to correct some of these impressions that are created by these politically exposed persons, government itself must be seen to be fair to every part of the country, to be doing justice to every issue that affect Nigerians. And you will not need any minister or special advisor to come and tell Nigerians that this is what we are doing as a government. So government must play by the rule and ensure that there is fairness in every decision it's taken, particularly the distribution of national resources and offices. And the government also has a duty to improve on its national orientation machineries so as to dissuade the mind of those Nigerians, particularly those uneducated Nigerians, that are easily mobilized by sentiments like such being peddled by these politicians, which is mainly for their selfish reasons.
All right. Mr. Lawson, before I allow you to go, just 15 seconds or 30 seconds, sincerely, as a very detribalized and focused Nigerian that you are, will you say in clear conscience that President Tinubu hasn't been lopsided in manner of appointment, priority given to the southwest or the southern part of Nigeria so far? Has it been fair?
Well, if you look at the distribution of the so far political offices, you want to agree that the president has been fair. Every state have been represented in the Federal Executive Council, and not just represented. Key positions of government have been given to people from virtually all the strategic parts of the country today. We have 2 ministers in charge of defense in the country. From the northern part of Nigeria, it has never been told. We have the National Security Advisor from the northern part of the country. We have 2 naval chiefs from that same northern part of the country. You understand? If you look at other key agencies of government, of course, there have been appointments. And you must understand that some of these things are not just done on the basis of, the 6 regions alone.
All right.
Considerations are also given to possibly how people voted for their party. During the election, Northwest being the leading, followed by the Southwest and other factors that politicians will always consider. So we must not take that away, but I think in the distribution of strategic positions of government, the president has not done poorly.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. FEMI Lawson, our public affairs analyst. Thank you for your time and speaking with us in spite of your tight schedule. We appreciate it.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you. And that was Mr. FEMI Lawson, our public affairs analyst, speaking to us, sharing his view about these issues, about the relocation of some operation and some personnel of the CBN back to Lagos, and of course the Federal Airport Authority headquarters back to Lagos as well for operational purposes. That has been generating quite some controversies. By the way, many persons of influence have been speaking on the matter, including the Senate whip, Dr. Ali Ndume, that's Senator Ali Ndume, representing Borno South. But we have been told we should first be Nigerian, firstly, and then if things needs to be said, it needs to be said as well, and that will be the size of the program. Morning Spring for today. Thank you for sticking with us all week. It has been our pleasure to have you. Femi Ojo is my name. Please do well to follow us on all our social media platforms, on X, on Instagram, and on Facebook. Of course, you have the address scrolling on your screen. And also, you can have a recap of this program on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television. Have a fabulous, fabulous day and a fabulous weekend. Femi Ojo is my name again. God bless Nigeria. Evelyn.
Yes, we have to go, but we come back for Spring Trends. My name is EVELYN, OHIOLEI, and we'll see you soon.